are going to deal with ticketing system. Every IT person work with ticketing system. And I want to be sure that we all understand ticketing system, especially for those who don't have working experience working in the IT industry using any ticketing system. This training is going to support you with a good knowledge to be able to work with any ticketing system that you'll be encountering when you get a job as a network engineer. So when we talk of ticketing system, what does it mean? I used to have a boss who said that if you don't write means you've not worked. So everything you do you should write. Now how do you write that? You use the ticketing system. So ticketing system is an effective way of tracking customer requests and issues in a centralized location. So it gives you a centralized location where users can send their requests for services. They can also complain about performance or issues, and everybody have access to what that issue is with one centralized location. In that situation, you can assign to people who are responsible for that. You can prioritize the ticket, and then you can have a way of knowing that you have resolved all issues that have been sent to you. So that is the main idea why we need a ticketing system. Without ticketing system, we will not even know that we are working. And most companies with your performance index, your KPI will be measured with how many tickets you close in a day. And sometimes they can even ask you in an interview, how many tickets do you close in a day? And we'll go through all that, and I'll support you with some of the ideal answers to have. But this is what ticketing is all about in terms of that. And then, with that being said, if ticketing is to track what we do in terms of providing services, and remember, if you are an IT person, the idea is you provide services to clients. Who are your clients? The users of the network. So that is our main responsibility as IT for the IT department. So this help you for you to know everybody what they are doing and how it works. Then in terms of the popular ticketing system we have in the industry, I'm just going to give two. You get a job where they are using different one apart from these two. But Remedy and ServiceNow is very, very common. So you can check YouTube videos on how to close tickets with Remedy, how to close tickets with ServiceNow. But I'm going to go through all the components we have in every ticketing system, and then you can support yourself with YouTube videos just to bring yourself to speed when it comes to ticketing system, if you have no experience working with that. So these are the two popular ones. So now let's go to the types of ticket that will be assigned to you. So we have incident tickets, we have service request tickets, some also say request tax tickets. So this can be request tax ticket as well. It's all for the same purpose. So depending on what ticketing system you are using, it could be a service request ticket or it could be a request tax ticket, and they all refer to the same thing. We also have what we call change request tickets and emergency change request ticket as well. So I'll focus on this. I'll focus on this for because you are network engineers. These are the tickets that I will say you'll be working with. So this is what you'll be resolving. This is what you'll be using to deal with other stuff. So I'm going to go through all of the components one by one and what is involved among all of them. But get the idea that we have 4 items: incident ticket, service request ticket, change request ticket, and emergency change request ticket. So let's take the first one. When we talk of incident ticket, what does it mean? As a network engineer, any break and fix will be reported to you as an incident ticket. This is where we used to resolve our break and fix issue. So it's a record of an issue or problem that is reported to an organization or support team. In our situation, it will be a support team. And it's also a way for user to document an incident and also for us to know what incident has been resolved. So it's a documentation purpose. At the same time, it's what we use to resolve issue. If you don't have incident tickets, you are just sitting home chilling. You understand? So if today no incident ticket report to you, you have no work to do, no work to be done if you are for operation side. So incident ticket is purposely for that. It's to resolve issues. If there are interruptions on the network, if certain services are not working, then you are going to have this issue reported to you. So what it means is that under the incident tickets, there should be a nature or severity of the issue. So somebody has to report this. So this is going to come from a user. Sometimes the user will report to a help desk, then the help desk will create the ticket. So there are company-ware users, like an accountant, he doesn't create an incident ticket. Or let's say customer service person, he doesn't create, like the employees, they don't create the ticket. So they rather call the help desk, they tell them what issues they are encountering, then the help desk people will then create the ticket. Why do they call the help desk? Because sometimes they cannot put the right information in the ticketing system for the IT support team to be able to resolve it. That is why in some company, you have help desks as part of your IT hierarchy team. You have help desks. They are responsible of or the first line for troubleshooting. They get the information that users are complaining about. Then it goes to the NOC team or field support team, depending on what company you are dealing with and their hierarchy or their team dynamics. So we've spoken about team dynamics, so I will not talk much, but just to give you the hierarchy. So it goes, so from user, it goes to help desk. So the user report the incident to the help desk. The help desk report to the desktop guy or field support guy or NOC team. So they are the first point of contact after the ticket is created. And these are things that you'll be asked in an interview. So it's good to know. Then from this field, if it's something that does not relate to level 1, and then they escalate it. They escalate the same incident ticket. They escalate it to maybe the network queue or the service queue or the security queue. So based on the department you have in your company, the ticket will be escalated to the appropriate team to work on it. Okay, so sometimes as a network engineer, you get a ticket which is wrongly assigned to you. Then you assign it to the right team because you know the whole process. When a desktop guy reports something to you, you then reassign it to the appropriate forum. So sometimes you can get ticket which is not meant for you, but it's assigned to you to work on it, and then you reassign to that. That is the more reason why I said that the troubleshooting stuff, you have to understand it. If not, you inherit an issue that you are not supposed to resolve, then you waste time and then it doesn't help. Okay, so that is very, very key. And then in this ticketing system, in the incident ticketing system, it talks about the nature of the issue. It talks about the affected system or services. It talks about details that has been any actions that has been taken. So for example, let's say the help desk get the ticket. They talk about the affected services, how severe the issue is, and then it goes to the desktop. The desktop people will take action by making sure that, okay, this is something that I need to be aware. This is something that I can solve. So he goes through all the process that he's supposed to deal with, and then he's not able to solve it. So you put that information in the ticket before reassigning or escalating it to the appropriate level for it to be addressed. Okay, and in that ticketing system, it has a contact information of the individual who created it or the user who reported it. So if it's from the help desk team, it will come with the name of the person who reported the incident. So when the issue is resolved, you have to make sure that you get in touch with the person who reported the issue and let them know that it's resolved before you close the ticket. That is very, very important. An incident ticket requires attention, urgent attention, but it depends on the severity issue or what we call the priority level. So in real life, we have what we call P1, P2, and P3. And in that situation, we also can have it to be severity 1, severity 2, and severity 3. Now, what all this means, which every company have a different way of how the service level agreement is. So all this is talking about the service level agreement. What does it mean? It means that when there is an issue, you need to know the severity, how severe it is, or in terms of priority, how prioritized you should attach to the ticket. And that comes with the attention you put on, the urgent attention you put on. So we have ticket which is priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, or severity 1, severity 2, severity 3. Or it could be high incident ticket, medium incident ticket, or low incident ticket. Now, high incident ticket is always referring to scenario where, so if you talk of high incident tickets, it can also be P1 issue. It can also be severity 1 issue. I hope you understand that this aspect with me. Get the process understood well, okay? Now, how do we determine what ticket is high incident ticket? Let's assume that you have a remote office, a whole remote office being down because they've lost internet access. They don't have internet, meaning that they can't do any work. In that scenario, what will happen? It means that nobody will be able to access anything. So this is a high incident ticket. Or we can say it's a P1 issue. Or we can say it's severity 1 issue. This one, it tells you that work on it right away. Stop whatever you are doing and work on it right away. That is what we mean by service level agreement. In terms of what level will you use for all these tickets system. So when you get a job, okay, these are things you have to understand in terms of this the service level agreement, meaning that if it's P1 issue, do you stop everything and work on it? Or do you need 30 minutes to resolve it? Do you need 10 minutes to resolve it? Do you need 20 minutes to resolve it? Every company differs. So this is something you need to understand when you get a job, okay? That is very, very important. But most often, high incident ticket means that stop whatever you are doing and attend to it. And also sometimes they will open what we call whiteboard or bridge call when there is P1. So your boss will open a conference call, everybody will join and then find answers to resolve it, okay? Or you can have a critical application which is down. Everybody is using which is down. That is a P1 issue or also high incident issue as well. Are you all getting that? So that means that you need to have attention right on it. Then we can have severity 2 or medium level incident ticket or P2 ticket. Let me give you one example. Let's say a whole switch is down. So you have 48 connection which is down. That is not P1 issue. That is medium level issues because only one department is down. So for that issue, they can give you a service level agreement of making sure you attend to the issue, or let's say time that you have to resolve the issue to be like within 1 hour it has to be resolved, or even if it's not resolved, within 30 minutes you have to respond to the ticket for people to know that you are working on it. So you have to acknowledge it. You have to contact the people that you need for more details to get the right information and know how to design a plan to be able to resolve that. Are you all following what I'm saying? So that is medium level issue. Then we have low level issue. So let's say Jennifer on her computer, only one computer is off. You don't need everybody to stop working just to work on your one single computer. It doesn't work that way. So that is low level ticket, and that could be P3 issue or severity 3 issue. So sometimes with that situation, it can be 24 hours or it can be 3 days, depending on the company. Now, some companies structure it up to even, let's say, P4, meaning that under the low level or low incident ticket, we have very low incident ticket as well. where you don't bother yourself. That can be done in 3 days or whatever. So when it comes to ticketing system, when you get a job, first of all, you have to understand what they classify as high incident tickets in terms of the ticketing system. Are they using the P1? Are they using the severity 1? Those are the common ones. Remedy, I know they use P1. No, Remedy, there are some which use P1, there are some which use severity 2, depending on the version that you are running. And there are other ticketing systems which use high incident, medium, and all that. So this is something you have to know. And also, there are companies that I've worked with where P3 is rather their high incident ticket. So you go to company A, P1 is their high incident ticket, and company 2, P3 is rather their high incident ticket. So you also have to understand all this. In your first week at work, this you need orientation. When you get job, your first week, you need to be oriented on ticketing system. And it doesn't matter how many times you've worked. Every job you get, you need to get orientation. And the orientation process, this is one of, under the incident ticket, this is one of the things to consider. What is classified as high incident? What is classified as medium? What is classified as low in terms of their priority levels? And then in terms of service level agreement, how many times do you have to work on it? Their documentation they can share with you, or they can show you all those stuff. And then also you have to create incident, you have to learn how to create incident tickets yourself. Because sometimes, for example, let me give you one example. Your manager will ask you to do something. You don't tell your manager, create a ticket for me. Okay? It won't be nice. Okay? Let me put it that way. It won't be nice to say, oh, I need ticket to work with. So I'll do it for you, but I'll create the ticket for myself, so that it will help you with your performance index at the end of the year performance index. Or sometimes you get very cool with other workers like the desktop guys, and sometimes they are in the heat of movement. They can create a ticket for certain issues or certain process. You can learn to create it yourself when you resolve that issue. So what I'm trying to make here is, don't do anything without ticketing system. This is something I've learned very well with. You go with that process, it will not help you. Because as I said, the purpose of ticketing is to track information, so that nobody will say, I didn't say this, or I didn't know of this, or whatever. So this process will help you to track every issues that you have on your environment. So when it comes to incident ticket, it creates a record of the issue. I have had a situation where you have desktop people who you are cool with, and then they send you a text message to work with. If you send me a text message, I will not work with it. Create an incident ticket. If I feel like I have time, I can create the incident ticket myself and do it for you, okay? But the bottom line is, always insist for them to create a ticket before you resolve it. And there are certain managers who are very, very concerned about that. Why did you do this without a ticketing system? As I told you, I had a boss that says that if you don't write, means that the whole day you didn't work on anything. So if somebody got you to do a work through a text message, through an email, I mean, ask for text message, don't even work on it. Tell them, send me an email, because you can put the email in your ticketing system when you are creating it yourself, so that people will know who sent that issue. Are you all getting the flow of what I'm saying? This part is very, very important to make your role very comfortable. So keep in mind that aspect of that in terms of dealing with that. So this is very, very key. Okay, Ebenezer, you have a question?
Yes, sir. So my question is, at this point, I think it's very good idea that yourself, you have to create a ticket attached to it.
Yes. If you no, so okay. If you detect the issue yourself, it's very difficult unless your monitoring tool send you an alert. I'm going to talk of monitoring tool as well. So you have a tool that will monitor the network, and that monitoring tool will send you an alert. When that monitoring tool send you an alert, it will create an incident ticket on its own. So you use it to solve. So you will not see an issue. I'm not really sure of that. Based on my experience, where I've seen issue to resolve myself. If there is no reported issue, I don't do anything. So don't go and look for issues. Okay? And I've already said that what is working, don't do what? What is working, Ebenezer, don't do what?
Don't interfere.
Don't interfere, it's okay, or don't change it. What is working, don't change it. So till you get a report, you don't work on it, and the reports will come from users or the IT guys, or it will come from incident ticket from your monitoring tool, your alert system. Then that will give you a ticket to work on. So without a ticket, you don't work. And also you can get emails from your manager. Somebody reported this issue, so can you look into it? You go through your ticketing system. There is nothing of that sort in the ticketing system. That you can use his email to create a ticket on yourself. Because remember, in terms of the ticketing system or incident ticket, you need to have idea about what the nature and the severity and the system that are affected. So without this information, you can't create a ticket. So this issue should be understood. So whether it's coming from your boss, coming from another stakeholder, if I talk of stakeholders, sometimes you can have managers who are they happen to know you as the network engineer and they want you to support them. Those people, you don't tell them to create a ticket. You can create a ticket by you tell them, can you send me an email so that I'll be aware of the whole picture in terms of how many people are affected, what services are affected, and those ones, they are good to do that. But creating the ticket is what I know they don't like. So maybe you will not be able to say it, but for you to be safe, just create a ticket on your own by dealing with that aspect. Does that make sense, Ebenezer?
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. So, sir.
And then David Walker.
Yeah, bro, I got a few questions.
Okay.
One, with the ticketing system, when you resolve the issue, is that ticket saved in like a database?
Yes. Yes.
And is it like titled the problem? So let's say if a host computer lost service, would it be titled that in like the database?
Yes. You get to know the person who created it. You get to know title of the issues. You get to know area that is affected. You get to know the business impact. You get to know if it's service related, what is the issue is. So all those information will be on there. So ticketing system is more or less a database for record. So you record for issues and request services. That is the whole thing. And also one thing I will, just as you said this, I will let you guys understand is when you get a job, get to know some of the common issues that was resolved. And even in your interviews, you can also ask, just to prepare myself well, in case I become successful, can you share with me some of the common issues that come with this role so that I will know the common issues I'll be resolving? And when you get a job in the ticketing system, they are record to know the issues that has been resolved for the past 1 month or for the past 2 months or for the past, sometimes keep record of 3 months or 6 months before it fade off for new information to come up. So you have to go through and see some of the trend, the things that report, and also in the incident ticket, when you solve it, how you solve it should be part of the ticketing system. How you solve it should be part of it. And then let me share with you, I have one way of just to share with you how to close a ticket. So if one issue is reported, let's say this issue was reported and the issue relate to a remote office which was down. This issue relate to a remote office which was down. So a remote office in Worcester which was down. And then you got the service restore at this time. Now, before you say service restore, it means that you have put in information about what the real issue was, and what you are going to do or what you did to resolve it. Are you all getting that point? So there is a track information of what happened, what was resolved. So let's say this one happened to be a service provider issue, or it happened to be a power outage. So this was a power outage over the night due to weather condition. So this was a power outage. It could be an issue of, let's say, what is a service provider issue or whatever. But let's use this for specific. So you tell the time that it was restored, and then the business impact. Of course, if there is no power with the network devices, everything will be down. And then there is no high availability, meaning that there is no work around it, so everybody couldn't do anything. And then the affected users, it was a Worcester remote office, and then any application hub where they can work with, this one is not applicable in that situation. And how it was restore power to the network devices. Okay, so you make sure all the network devices had power, and then you have to verify all this. So local network staff verification. So what I would say is this template I've seen company where they have structured way of closing a ticket. You have to find out, is there a proper format of how you guys close your tickets over here? Then you use that process to fill in order to close your ticket. Are you all getting the flow of what I'm saying? And all this is because you have resolved the issue. So that is very, very key. But before you close the ticket by putting in this information and saying that ticket closed, you have to reach out to the person who reported it. And that is the reason why the verification is very important. So what it means is, if your boss is going through this, you will check this. And also, let me tell you this, under the service level agreement, if you get incident ticket and you don't work on it, your manager will get an alert that there is a ticket in workers queue and he's not working on it, and he has passed the service level agreement, which means that you were to work on it within 30 minutes and almost 3 hours you've not worked on it. Your boss will be aware of that, and he will call you. And you shouldn't have constant situation like that. You should not, like, every day you have a situation of you going against the service level agreement. It will really go against your overall year performance. So make sure you are up to task on that. Remember, when it comes to IT, your performance is what makes you stay on the job. Most of the company don't have direct staff for IT. They outsource it. That is why we have most of you get job from service managed company, because they have outsourced the service. So if you don't keep the client happy, they will get a different client and you will lose. So you have to make sure you follow with the service level agreement. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you kind of answered my next question, because I was going to ask, how long does it usually stay in the database? And I ask this because if you have a very big issue, like the one you mentioned to us last time, when a problem happened at one of your companies, it took about 7-8 hours to take care of it, but then you documented it yourself. And then later on, when you were like, I think, on vacation, the same thing happened again. And then nobody knew what to do. Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering, if that was the case, something big like that, wouldn't they keep it in a database for like long-term, just in case something like that would happen ever again, so they can fall back on or look back on it to see how it was completed?
So yes, like a day, depending on the company, you can have like 400 tickets. So that is a lot of information to keep for a long time. I had one guy which I think they were abusing him. He said he has to resolve about 500 tickets a day, and every day he has an arrest. And I said, but can't you complain to your boss that this is not humanly possible? He said, but he's seeing that I'm not able to resolve it. I said, no, talk to your boss, because it's on you. The ticket is on you, and it's your credibility. So talk to him that in your past job, you maximum ticket you resolve in a very structured company might be like 10 or maybe 5, okay? So that would be the maximum ticket you can resolve in a day. How can one person have 500 tickets assigned to him within a day? Even if you're a magician, you can't solve it. Do you get it? So there are a lot of incidents that will report to you. You get if it's a very big company. Remember, a company can have like close to 50,000 users or maybe 100,000 users. That is a big environment, and that comes with a lot of tickets. Take it to application, take it to network, take it to service team, take it to system side, take it to NOC side. So many take it. So you can't have a record for a very long time. But there is a way you can retrieve it if there is an emergency. But you see, you have to, that is the reason why I show you that you have to have your own documentation for working. Because sometimes to retrieve it is even an issue in terms, because there are so many issues. What title will you put in order to retrieve the information, you know? So it becomes very, very difficult. So when it comes to that, take note of that. And you even think, I've had issue where it took us like 1 week before we were able to resolve it. Such an issue, I'll document everything that didn't work. Okay, so I titled the issue, and everything that didn't work, I will not let us go through that process again. So if the same issue comes up again, we are just going to focus on things that work so that we don't waste time. Because like I said, if it's P1 issue, everybody will be on board. So you have like a team of 10 engineers, and then maybe you have security guys, you have server guys, you have application guys, and everybody is throwing in their suggestion. So if you have that documentation, you handle that process. And to tell you the truth, that has made me a hero in so many companies I've worked with. And I've seen a lot of students being praised with that kind of working style. So keep that working style, and you see that they will say, wow, this is the engineer in the building. And then you see that you've gotten your point, your 3 points over there. Okay, so that is very, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, bro.
Sure. Lomine. Let's go to service request tickets. So what is service request ticket? So this is different from incident ticket. Incident ticket means that something is broken and you need to fix it. Service request ticket or request task ticket, which will come to you as a network engineer, it's not a ticket reporting of an incident or something being broken. It's just a request for something to be done. So I'm going to give you some of the example in terms of why you work with service tickets. For example, as a network engineer, somebody need new IP address. That doesn't require changes, so you have to, it comes with a service request, you give them the IP address. Sometimes you need to make procurement, so you have to create this ticket for your boss to approve it before you do that procurement and all those stuff. So this, what it means is, in terms of service request, you don't make changes. You make what? You deal with what? You kind of provide a service in terms of not doing any change. But also let me say, in addition to this, I've seen minor changes where it comes under service request ticket. For example, somebody wants one port to be activated. That is a minor change. And port activation, nothing is broken. He's installing a new DEX, or he's installing a new printer, and he wants you to configure a port for them. In that situation, it's a service, it's a request ticket, but it's not a major change. So you are not making major change. But when it's a major change, you don't work with service request, which we'll go through that. So these are some of the tickets that you'll be working with. So do you all get that? Now let's go to the next one, which is change request ticket. This is major. Now, this is what we use to modify any aspect of the network, either by optimizing it for good performance or creating a change to your network, to your system, to your service. So everybody who is making change, they follow this process. So the security team, if they want to make changes, they have to create a change request. If a network engineer, you want to install a new switch, you want to create a new network, you want to do ACL, you want to do routing configuration. These are major changes. You need what? Change request tickets. So change request ticket comes with different process, and I want to walk you through that so that you get the idea of what I'm talking about. So anytime you are talking about change request, it means that there is an incident. So this can be from stakeholders, it can be from project team, it can be from external vendors, or whatever the case may be. So you need to identify potential change before you go and create this. And some of the potential change, your manager can say that, okay, we are bringing new workers, or we are moving these people to this location. Check whether the switch there has enough port to connect new users. Then you verify and you see that no, you've run out of ports in that IDF. So in that situation, you have to install a new switch. So if you are going to install a new switch, that is a major change, and that should go through the change request process. Are you all getting the flow of what I'm saying? So when you get that, you need to submit the change request, and then in submission process, you get a peer approval. Okay, you have to get peer approval to be able to approve that change, to be sure that what you want to do is good or not. For example, you want to do a routing change, you want to do an ACL change, you need a peer approval. Your peer approval will approve the change and say that what you want to do is ideal for the it's okay and it's not going to affect anybody, or you are not going to have a major change. And then you also need to have change impact analysis, where the project team analyze the potential impact of the change on the project scope, schedule, budget, and the quality, what devices you are supposed to buy. And then you go through change control board review, or we call it change management meetings. Now, this is where you go and defend what you want to do, and they can either approve it or reject it. So after you've done your change, your boss has done your peer has done the peer approval, it goes to your manager to do the final approval, then it goes to the change management board, then you come for the meeting to defend it. Why do you want to do it? What is the impact? Which people will be affected? What time are you going to do it? What date do you want to do it? And once all this has been understood, then your change will be approved for implementation. And then after implementation, then you are good to go. But you need to, let's assume, for example, you are going to do a change. Let me bring one change request. I had one template that I wanted to share with you. Let me look for it. Okay, so I have one here. This was a change for MPLS circuit activation and cutover. So this was like a new remote office, and then I was creating a change to activate the circuit. So what it means is, like remote office, we know the setup. You have a router, you have a switch, you have your connectivity to PCs, and then you have your MPLS circuit here. Now, I need to activate this circuit to be able to talk to the data center. So if you do all your configuration, this will not be able to talk to the data center unless you activate this circuit. So that is a change. You are bringing a new remote office to the data center. So you need to go through the board to get approval, to get peer approval and all that before you come to do this. So in terms of that, every company has a template in terms of the information you need to provide. So if you look at this template, you see over here that you need to provide the location where you want to do the change. You need to provide the scheduled time, the date and the time that you want to do it, okay? This was in Chicago or something, I've forgotten, but I'm sure it might be in Chicago. So that time, whether Central or Eastern, you have to provide it. And then the summary of the change. This change was to activate a new MPLS circuit at the location that you mentioned above. And what you need is for the data access to be 100 meg. So this was a 100 meg location. So the pipe, which we spoke about, the bandwidth is for 100 meg for that situation. So you have to give idea about what it's all about, and then the procedure you are going to use. So the procedure I'm going to use is to apply this configuration on the remote router. Now this configuration, you need to put it in your change request ticket, and all this you do it under the remedy ticketing system or the service ticketing system. Then you attach this template on it, and sometimes you have a way that all this information can be inside that you can make that input, but mostly you can have this on a notepad and then you attach it to that change. So you talk about that, and then I have to verify when everything is done to test connectivity, and this will be done with Verizon because it's a Verizon circuit. So it means that you have to open a conference call, you have to get Verizon members in place. So first of all, you have to talk about the attendees on the call for the cutover. This is going to involve Verizon team, is going to involve yourself who is going to do the change. I normally need one desktop guy when I'm doing something like this to be able to test all the application, because network engineer, you might not be able to know all the applications that the company is using. So you need a desktop guy to be able to test all the application and services after you are done with the activation to make sure that everything is working well. So all these things should be done, and then you verify with users for internet and application connectivity. So that is your change procedure, the way you are going to do it. Then the business impact. Nobody is a new location, so nobody will be there. So I don't expect any high impact. So minimum impact is okay. So that is something that you have to think of. But assuming it's an existing location, then that will be high impact, because existing location where it's working already and you are going to change it to another provider. Everybody, don't sleep, oh guys, don't sleep. I'm seeing some of you, your face is not encouraging, so don't sleep. This one, try to understand it. So if you are making a change for this location, in that situation, what it means is that everybody will be affected because there are people who are working, so that has a high business impact. But for this one, it's a new setup, nobody is there, so minimum impact. Then in every change request, you have to talk about rollback plan. So what is your rollback plan? If it doesn't work, I just disconnect from the circuits, then I have my system ready, and then they have to come and take their MPLS circuits and bring me a new one. So that is going to be your what? Rollback plan. And then you have to prove what you are going to test. So I'll test all this. This application, real life application they use in the industry. So I have to test all this and make sure everything is okay. Then these are the people I'm expecting to be on the call. Sometimes your manager can be on the call, or sometimes he might not be on the call. So that is all it is when it comes to change request ticket. So change request ticket means that you are going to make a major change. And the major change, what am I talking about? It means that I'm talking about process where you are doing new installation, you are doing changes like ACL, routing, creating a new network on the core switches, or creating a new network on a remote office. These are all major changes. You don't do it without a ticket. Be careful with that. So you don't do that without a ticket. So that is something that we should all be mindful of when it comes to what? Ticketing system. And then we also have emergency ticketing, emergency change request tickets. That is a situation where a switch is down. So a working switch is down. Okay, now this working switch is down and you need to replace it. So you are bringing a new device. So it's a major change, but it has to be an emergency change request. Why? Because with the change request, till it's approved, you can't do it. But the users cannot be there till it goes through all the process. So you need your boss to get emergency approval for this change request. And that is the reason why we have emergency change request as well. And that always happen to deal with where you have incident to create a major change. There is an issue, you have to create a major change. Then that process comes in. Okay, so any question coming when it comes to this?